This is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmoe. We're talking Padres, Chargers, and Aztec sports.
Gotta hit it to the right place. And he hits it out to center. Right center. Blackmon's got a long way to go. He's still going.
Off the wall.
And it is off the wall. It takes a funny hop. Kemp is rounding second. He's heading to third.
Gotta go.
And Matt Kemp into third base with a triple and the first cycle in the history of the San Diego Padres.
He will hand it off. Tomlinson plows his way towards the goal line. LaDainian Tomlinson, one step closer to football immortality. Tomlinson has tied the single-season record. And the handoff to Tomlinson. Left side, and he will gallop into the end zone. Charger fans are witnesses to history.
Pope thought about it. Now steps up. And the freshman hits the jumper at the buzzer.
Well, this kid is some prospect. Big time length, big time game.
Pope straightaway three. Count it. Malik Pope. Pope. Off classic good. On the other end, Joel doesn't miss that one. Shepard alley-oop to Pope. He got up there. Oh, wow.
It's time to let your voice be heard.
Hey, listen, Nestle, quick.
Dad, quick out. We switched to Ritz Chocolate Ovaltine.
Why?
Ovaltine's better for you. It has vitamins and minerals. Quick doesn't.
And it tastes great.
It is great.
More Ovaltine, please.
Oh, Ovaltine, please. Can we start the show with that soundbite, please?
We just did. We just opened up the show with the Ovaltine commercial. This is the San Diego Sports Junkies, the show for the fans.
By the fans.
Wow.
Holy shit. Don't sound so enthusiastic, guys. It is Wednesday at 7 o'clock. That does mean it's time for the San Diego Sports Junkies. We're all so excited to talk about this awesome Chargers team. I'm Jason Eidsmoe. We got Justin Smead along via Skype. We got Josh Taylor via Skype from Arizona. We got Mike Maciejewski from Aztecs Hoops Nation. And, of course, we have Jake Hefner from BoltBeat.com. How's everybody doing today?
Great. Just fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Before we start the show, did the Chargers really put in for the new name of Red Cross?
They might have.
That's the new logo.
Yeah, the new logo.
They're doing away with the blue and yellow.
I heard they wanted the name FEMA.
Yeah. Justin tweeted out, or he Instagrammed a picture today. It showed the Chargers logo, but with the replacement of the G is the wheelchair logo from a handicapped placard, which I thought was brilliant.
That's what happens sometimes when you're a morgue.
So so lots of stuff happened. Of course, when we were before the show was starting, Sloppy Joe has joined us. He says the Chargers have to trade Philip Rivers, and we will get to that.
Here we go.
We got what I wanted to talk about first is let's see what is the reason. What is the reason why we just cannot get it done? The second something goes bad, everybody screams. Fire McCoy, fire McCoy, fire McCoy. And I'm going back there and looking, and, before McCoy, we had Norv Turner. Everybody wanted to fire Norv Turner. Before that, we had Marty Schottenheimer. He had plenty of people that said he can't win the big game, he can't win the playoff game, and he did not win any playoff games for us. Before that, you remember who we had before that? Mike Riley. Before that, June Jones. Before that, Kevin Gilbride. All of these people could not get it done in San Diego.
You're opening a lot of wounds.
Now everybody's...
Justin wasn't even born.
Well, before...
So much better. Thank you.
Yeah, before that was Bobby Ross, and that's the only guy that could really get it done.
Boss
Ross. Josh likes that because we call him Boss Josh.
There you go.
Is it the coach? I mean, really, do we really want to fire the coach and start all over again? Or what's the comment? Mike's shaking his head. I'm going to mute you, Mike. I wish I could mute individual people, like on Pardon the Interruption or whatever. You can't do, or on what's that one show that they do that? I forgot. Around the Horn.
Around the Horn.
Can't do that, though. To me, the only common denominator in here is the fucking water in San Diego. That's the reason. We need to start shipping our water from outside, because I'm going to tell you, I don't believe in hexes. I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in any of that shit. Yet
ask
something
the Cubs about hexes.
There's got to be a reason, and we're gonna. I'm gonna let you start, Mikey. You think it's McCoy? You think it's McCoy?
Well, first of all, the water is shipped in from the Colorado River anyway, so I don't know what's going on.
We got to ship it from somewhere else because we're getting.
But no, I don't. Honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say that McCoy lost this game. Obviously, he did not. I think McCoy. Again, McCoy's not my coach. Like
I know.
The kind of coach I would like. I'm more progressive in play calling. I would like to see him be a little more progressive. But obviously, I can't blame the last loss on him. But I would like to see him shipped out. I just feel like he's not the coach to rebuild this team. And as first-year coach and a first-year GM are not the ones that you need to rebuild this team. So definitely, I think you need to move on and start over. Because really, again, we talked about many times about rebuilding, and we talked about you can't do it at the stadium. But really, it is what it is. And this team is not meant to win now. Even before the injuries, this team was not meant to win now.
Jake, is the coach the problem here? What's the issue?
How long do we got to talk about this?
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
I'm going to have to go get another six-pack.
Unlimited capabilities here, Jake.
Look, every single year that, any team has a losing type of season, there's always going to be a scapegoat. Last year it was Frank Reich for the offense. There was a lot of cases made that McCoy should have gotten the axe last year. There was us making the case on this show that talking about John Pagano getting the axe last year. I think it is finally time. I mean, you started naming off all the coaches there, Jason. progressively, even though you're talking about a different team, different talent, I can't remember the time that Norv Turner had a 4-12 season and started off like
exactly
this year. I don't ever give credit to Norv Turner because I personally didn't like him more as a head coach than I do Mike McCoy. But at the same time, I mean, you have to start somewhere. And there's a lot of rebuilding to do on this team, whether it's coaches and players alike, and it has to start somewhere. And let's not forget, over the next 4 weeks, even as injury-riddled as the Chargers are, you've got Oakland, Denver twice, and Atlanta. You could possibly be sitting at a 1-7 season by the half-point mark of the year here. I mean, at that point, what really difference is it going to make whether you make the change then or whether you make the change now? But at some point, the change has to be made regardless.
Okay. So you think that coaching change is the issue? I don't think that I don't know what the problem is besides the water. I say that kind of jokingly, but there's definitely something wrong. Maybe the ownership. That's another thing people say. Maybe it's the ownership. I don't know how the ownership could cause us to have such a team the way that the way the Chargers lose the games. I don't think it's the ownership either. I'm trying to find answers here, Justin. What do we do? Do we move on from the coach? Do we cut all the players? Do we rip up the grass and put in field turf? What's the answer here?
I don't know, man. I'm out of any solution that you could ever think of. Like, I'm sick to my stomach. I can't. All of this stuff that's going on this year, there's no explanation for any of it. There's nothing. There's nothing you could say and tell anybody that has any bearing or any reasonable explanation. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's injury after injury, stupid blunders at the end of games. You could be 4-0 this year, guys. And this is there's no explanation for it. I don't like Mike McCoy. I'm put it out there. I don't like him.
Yeah.
Should he be fired now? I don't know. Should he? I mean, should we just fire the coach? Sure. I don't care. Get out of here. But who's going to be the coach? Like
exactly.
Whisenhunt's going to be probably the guy to step in line there, which would make sense. But
he's been a failure. He's been a failure out there too as a head coach.
Exactly. So what do you do?
Exactly.
There is no explanation for any of this BS that's going on with this team. It is like we're cursed, and I never really say that stuff, but it is. It's like you're going to take each position our best player, go one by one and go, yep, he's gone. Yep, he's gone. You're going to go, yeah, that guy's gone. Oh, backup guy there, he's pretty decent. Let's put him on the shelf. I mean, it's astronomical what's going on right now, and it's not even week 5.
Yeah, Chris Hunter in the chat room says it's Alex Spanos, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm not, the Spanos family, anyways, Dean Spanos. Yeah. I don't believe that it's the owner either. However, that's the only variable that hasn't changed through all this is the owner. Everything else has changed. Players have changed. Coaches have changed. People talk about the medical. The medical part of it has. They've changed medical staffs. They've changed all that stuff. And the only thing that hasn't changed is the ownership. But I still don't think that's it. But that's the only thing that even makes any sense, Josh.
It is the Spanoses, in my opinion, and the reason why I say that is because it's the one common denominator that hasn't changed, and we have a culture here, guys, where the owners don't really give a shit about winning. They really don't. In my opinion, they don't care about winning. They don't care about San Diego. They don't. All they care about is money in their pocket, in my opinion, and this culture needs to change. Only way it's going to change, and we're going to bring a winning culture back to this organization, is to start from the top. You got to get rid of the Spanoses. You got to bring in somebody who's
can't do that. By the way, we can't get rid of the Spanoses.
No, they're the owner.
Yeah,
we got to bring in a winning culture. We got to bring in somebody who wants to win, who cares about the city, who cares about this team, who cares about the players on the field, and who wants to hold that Lombardi Trophy up. And the Spanoses, they don't want that. And we need to start with a winning culture.
Jake,
well, I think they want that, but they don't. But do they not want that?
Everybody okay. Just to say they don't want it, but do they want it enough? Maybe that's the key.
Sure.
Do they want it enough? Because of course every owner wants to win. But
they want it 5%. Okay, we'll give them their 5%. But we need somebody that's 110% into winning this thing.
Are they willing to do anything it takes to win, or do they want to just make money and if they win, they win? Jake, is it the owners?
It really is a combination of things, honestly, because people can talk about, you shouldn't have hired a first-time coach and a first-time GM and what have you, but it's like if you look across the country to Minnesota, look what Mike Zimmer's doing as a first-time as a head coach. I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, but there is an attitude about the coach, not to say that every coach is different, because they are, as far as their experience that they have and the impact that they have when they comes in, but let's think about what Kevin Acee said after week 1, after we botched that loss to Kansas City, as far as Mike McCoy not being a leader of men. And to be honest, the results that we've seen, it sounds like a broken record. It's similar to what we heard from Norb after a loss. It was just, we have to finish. We have to finish. It's like, we've heard all this before.
Right.
How can you blunder 3 games like that?
Yeah.
So at the same time, is it Spanos for bringing in a young, first-time GM and a first-time head coach? We can't say that because we didn't know that this was going to be the outcome 4 years ago. But at the same time, yes, these are the guys, the powers that be. So they are the ones that are bringing on the rest of the staff, and of course, having some impact on who the players are that are coming in. So there is a lot of blame to be thrown around, both player, coach, and owner alike.
I'm going to equate the Chargers. Jake, you're going to understand this probably more than the other guys. The Chargers right now are like the Nick Diaz of the NFL. They've lost 3 games, but nobody's beat them. Mikey, is it the ownership?
Yeah, man. I mean, just you going down through those lists of coaches, they have to be signed off. Those have to be signed off by somebody. And, I mean, we think back to Schottenheimer, and I never want Schottenheimer to go personally, but that was because they gave all the power to freaking A.J. Smith. So they just continue to make bad decisions. It's like that girl who continues to date assholes, and you try to tell her that you're picking all the assholes, but she just keeps doing it. And it's one of those things that it's just become really, like you said, it's the only common denominator. You have to blame them. I mean, who else can you blame? You can't blame the players. It has to be, these decisions are made. I mean, you go through those lists of coaches, and none of them really inspire, greatness or making moves to better this team. They're just chances taken in the wind. And I'm going to cede to Josh here, who has his finger raised.
I'll give you a prime example. 3 years ago, the Denver Broncos came this close to winning the Super Bowl. And guess what? The one denominator they were missing, defense. guess what their ownership went out? They spent all their money on defense. They shored up the one weakness on their roster, and they went out and dominated the NFL.
And nobody still knows how they did that and kept it under budget.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out.
But I mean, that's what I get at is I don't think the Spanoses are willing to do that. I don't think the Spanoses are willing to see where our weaknesses are and really put.
Isn't that the general manager's job, though?
I'm gonna.
I disagree with that one.
Yeah, I disagree as well.
The general manager's given a budget. He knows
some of
what he
that
can
could be
spend.
the general manager, but who ultimately holds the reins? The owners.
Spanos hired the general manager.
We have
Spanos hired the
We have a room of people trying to disagree with Josh all at the same time. Let's let Jake.
I'm with Josh.
Let's give Jake a chance here. Jake, what?
The only part of his statement that I disagree with was just they don't invest the money in the weaknesses. Okay, it's not just Telesco that didn't invest in it. If you look back, how long have we had problems now with this offensive line? How long has it been since we've actually invested a lot of time and money into the offensive line? Other than this year, DJ Fluker was really the first and the turncoat of everything that was the whole change and renewal of this offensive line. Before that, we didn't have a backup to Nick Hardwick. We didn't have a backup really prime left tackle, and that was back in the days of A.J. Smith. So that, again, resides under the same regime of the ownership of the Spanoses. So it's been a long time that this team has not been able to figure out where their weaknesses are until it's too late.
Josh, go.
And to add to that, Jake, I totally agree with what you just stated in the fact that our offensive line and our defensive line has been a Achilles heel, for lack of terms, going into this show. And we haven't addressed it, and we've continued to throw the same garbage out there year in and year out. You have a quarterback who is a Pro Bowl quarterback that can make any wide receiver look amazing if you just give him the time, and he doesn't have the time, and therefore we continue to struggle as an organization to win football games. And if we continue down this path, it's only going to get worse. We haven't hit rock bottom, guys, as much as we like to say it. We're this close to being 4-0, so we haven't hit rock bottom. There's still room to fall. How far do we fall is the question.
1-7, bud.
Josh is on fire today, by the way. Josh is on it today.
You're drinking some of Jason's positive juice over there.
Yeah, positive patties.
I just want everybody to know who can't see on the who isn't watching the video part of it. Every time Josh says this close, he just shows everybody how big his wiener is every time. If you're watching,
I'm white. That's all I have to say.
The most professional podcast. Yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
No, that was said the best right there. I mean, just the offense and the defensive line has been an Achilles heel for this team for years. We all have been expecting Brandon Mebane to be the replacement for Jamal Williams that we've been wanting for a long time, but it shouldn't have even taken that long to even bring a guy of that standard in here.
It's been 4 years Telesco's been here.
Yeah.
And, what is going on? What is going on?
Again, we had talked about the system that he came from Indianapolis, and honestly, I really, truly believe that he has built up this team, especially defensively, that really mirrors what that defense was in Indy during the end of their Super Bowl reign, the few years after that, where they just went small and they were all about speed. And in truth, especially along the defensive line, that's just not how you build. And they have continued to be negligent to that very fact on those type of things when it comes to factors that can really, predominantly make a 3-4 defense win. And I'm done with this hybrid 3-4-4-3 defense. It's just, in my opinion, just doesn't work properly.
Go ahead,
yeah.
Mikey.
Agreeing right there. When you struck the nerve, Josh, when you brought up the defensive line, because it's something that's been an issue for a long time, and it's taken a long time to address that. I mean, literally since Jamal Williams left, that inside of the line has been terrible. So I wonder what the priorities are, right? Where these things have been going on, and again, Tom Telesco was hired by the ownership, unless I'm wrong. So they're still accountable. Right. They're still accountable for this choice. I mean, when you sit down with an owner to apply for a coaching job or a GM job, you have to tell them your vision, your strategy, your plan, your plan of action. And this is what they bought into. This is the thing they're buying into. And they're buying into, Norv. They're buying into McNorv. They're buying into, all these other bums that Jason mentioned. Mike Riley's a bum. I mean, he's a bum in college now. He's always been a bum. And they're buying into this like, yeah, this is good football. So they're, somehow, some way,
Mikey's
preach. Let me take it a step further. And part of the problem, we're talking about all this, we're failing to address the defensive line, we're failing to address the offensive line. Part of the problem is how many years did we waste, 3 draft picks on cornerbacks because we keep missing with these draft choices. And we keep drafting these guys that are not, you're drafting cornerback, it's not working, you're drafting cornerback, it's a problem spot, and it's a glaring problem, and when you keep drafting and missing, you keep wasting draft picks, those are draft picks you're not able to use on the defensive line. Those are draft picks that you're not able to use on the offensive line. And then all of a sudden you draft a guy like Jason Verrett who, with tons of injury problems, he seems like a hit, except for the fact that he can't get on the field. But all those other all those other draft picks you've used on guys like that, I can't even look at you guys anymore because you guys are distracting me from my comments.
Most professional.
Yeah. I think that's part of it. I think that it's deeper than the fact that they're failing to address the lines, and I think part of the reason they're failing to address it is because they keep missing with these other draft choices, and they have to keep using them to make up for that. Mikey, go.
Really quick about that. I mean, they took so many bad choices at first round. You can't miss. I mean, Larry English, Sammy Davis. I mean, this is like history. Just they take these guys. I mean, even Joey Bosa right now. I mean, he was not the pick there. I mean,
remember Buster Davis?
Buster Davis. There you go.
Yeah,
some of these guys
he was awesome.
But there's so many guys that are borderline that are.
These
not
are all guys that could be cornerstones of your team right now, and they're not
Jonas
in the league.
Mouton.
I mean, I
Jonas
remember,
Mouton. Yes. How many years did we waste on that guy?
Not much, but he was a bad investment for a second-round pick. That's for sure.
Yes.
But there's so many guys like that where they move up from even Ryan Matthews. I mean, you move up all the way to 12 or whatever it was to get him. I mean, you give up all this to make these guys that you miss. You can't miss in the first round. You got to take a safe choice. And let's look at Larry English. He's not even he's not even in the league anymore. I mean, you could sign Ray Maliuga, who's not a stud, but at least he's still playing in his league.
Right.
So I don't expect him to hit home runs, but don't freaking strike out looking,
Yeah, no, I hear you. Joshy, go.
Take some Ovaltine, buddy.
Yeah.
Calm that head of yours. Woo! I can see that, Steve.
But this is to follow along the lines of the Spanos family again, because we've been and we continue to be the laughingstock of the NFL. You watch any sports network television.
I laugh at us a lot.
They won't talk about the Chargers, and when they do, they just I can't even spit out the words right now. They just completely
they piss on us.
Yeah, or they just push us to the side. Oh, they're not important enough to talk about. Let's just push them to the side. And my thinking is that we have this culture of being such a shitty organization, and this culture of not being able to win and putting a losing team out there and not being able to finish a football game, that what coach or GM in their right mind wants to come and be part of that culture. They want to go somewhere where they think they have the opportunity to win, and right now we're not presenting that opportunity for them to win.
That's a good point.
Why would they want to get paid millions of dollars and come to San Diego? I have no idea.
That's a good point, is maybe we're missing the opportunity to get those frontline guys because nobody wants to come here, maybe because of the ownership. That's an interesting point.
That's not a good point. That's not a good
point. How about Ron Rivera?
You're offering a job in San Diego.
Yeah.
You're going to be a general manager.
All right, guys. We're gonna take a quick break. We still, for the record, have not figured out what's actually wrong. We think we throw a lot of stuff out there, but we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna come back on the other side after I drink some Ovaltine. We're gonna discuss whether or not the Chargers need to trade Phillip Rivers and let him go win a championship.
I just made an Ovaltine protein shake.
Nice. We'll be right back, guys.
Calling all podcasters. Have you ever wanted your voice to be heard? Do you need help expanding your audience? Are you curious just how far your show could reach? Well, look no further. We are New Media Radio Network, the premier podcast streaming network. Let us take your show to the next level. For more information, check out our website, www.newmediaradio.net.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Everything changes.
All right, we are back. Nobody can blame me for the music anymore. We had to go copyright free. So
hang on, I'll just say this. At least that was an improvement to, again, the outro of All My Children.
As we all agreed in the break, whatever fandom we gathered over that great debate, we lost with that exit music.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Jason.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just the song that came up.
Did you actually download that song?
No, not the song. You know what it is? It's a 1 hour and 15-minute track of just a bunch of different stuff, and that's just happened to be where it was. I have it running all the time. Watch.
Well, hey,
See?
This is a show
Here
about
it is
change.
right there. It's always running.
running.
See? I just have to turn it on. Okay.
Hey, we're talking about change this much. Hey, we could bring up your taste in music as well. That needs.
Well, we just figured out now how to play the music and let you guys hear it. So you've missed all sorts of musical choices that I've made in the past. Hey, I
save the music for comedy snobs.
I got.
We don't laugh at.
Hey, I got. It was funny. We were driving in the car the other day, and Back in Black came on, and my daughter goes, "Hey, that's the song you play on your podcast all the time." And I said, "That's a song I used to play on our podcast all the time."
Are we live now?
We are. We're doing the show right now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go.
Yeah, I forgot.
Welcome.
I forgot we were doing the show. Anyways, enough about the music. Phillip Rivers. There's been a lot of talk about Phillip Rivers. A lot of fans are frustrated. Is it time for the Chargers to trade Phillip Rivers so he can either, for a couple reasons. Number one, so he can go somewhere and win a title somewhere, because obviously it ain't going to happen here. Or two, so we can use that to build on the future. And before anybody says he has a no-trade clause, I understand that. We know that. We're kind of talking hypothetically. Go, Josh.
Yes, Phillip Rivers needs to go. And here's why. We can all agree that we all love Phillip Rivers. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mikey, quit shaking your head. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. The guy is phenomenal. He can turn milk into Ovaltine. He's amazing. But
what?
What is
that? That is a weird statement. That's what you.
You just add the powder. It's not that hard.
It sounded really good the way he said that. That was awesome.
That was great.
But here's the thing with Phillip Rivers and with this franchise, we're going nowhere. We're not a winning franchise. He's in the latter half of his career, but he's got some good years left. I think we're doing him a disservice by not allowing him to go win a championship, one. And two, his value is still high. We can still get something in return that can help rebuild this franchise. And I think we need to do it now before it's too late.
Travis just joined us in the chat room, and he said that he just farted Ovaltine. Jake, what are your thoughts? Should we trade Phillip Rivers?
Well, see, here's the reason that people have problems with the concept of trading Phillip Rivers is that with everything that's happened with this team, that's the one position, the one player that you really have stability at.
Right.
And that's not ever changing all the time, and that you could actually look to for an opportunity to win. And we've looked at Phillip to win now for the past decade. And you don't want to take that risk in trading him away because you don't know. I mean, yes, could you get a good haul for him? Absolutely. But like we've seen with this team, the way it definitely makes their draft selections, you don't know exactly what's going to be coming in return. So it's just a big question mark. Long story short, is it time to trade Phillip Rivers? Yes, unfortunately it is. And I hate to be the one to say that. It hurts me actually having that statement leave my mouth, but it is. It really is. And it's just we never believed that we were in a true rebuilding mode with the way that we had invested in free agents. And on paper, this team looked really, really solid to start off the year. But that's the way it is. Everybody in preseason and early on is excited about the potential of what their team is. But after coming off of a 4-12 season and looking at the product out there, you have to do something to shake things up, and you have to do something that's going to bring about change, and hopefully in a positive way. And it comes on the sacrifice of giving up your best player to do it. Justin, do we trade Phillip Rivers?
No.
Thank you.
I'm not watching Kellen Clemens all year, by the way. And you know what? We're few plays from being 4-0, and I know it's woulda, shoulda, coulda, but I'm not trading my $100 million quarterback because I'm a fan and I want to watch my team play decent football on Sundays and at least have a chance in hell of getting the ball down the field. So for me, I know you guys are looking into the compensation and all that good stuff, and I see all that, but as a fan, you've already wasted enough picks in the last 7 years, so I'm not giving away Phillip because I've had him for 13 years, and I'd rather see him here another 4 years with this miserable-ass team because that's who I'm going to pay to see play football in San Diego.
Before I let Mikey tell us how we need to let Phillip Rivers go because we know that's where he's going, I'm going to say I agree with you, Justin. We have 12 more precious NFL football games this year. And I'm going to tell you what, as distraught as I was after that loss and as bummed out as I am right now, and I know this is the cup half full, the positive Patty, whatever you want to say, we've actually outplayed all 4 of those teams, and just stupid, fluky shit has happened. Now, you can say that's because the coach sucks. We can say that's because the ownership sucks. We can say that's because the water is tainted. We can say all of these things. But the bottom line is we've actually played. We haven't gone out and gotten beat yet. We have not gotten beat one game yet. We could still do something this year. I know we're only 1-3, but I'm not ready to give up. I have 12 more precious games, and then we have to wait what seems like 2 years for the next season to start. I am not giving up after week 4 and saying, let's trade the quarterback. I agree with you, Justin. I think it's ridiculous.
I want to see vintage Phillip Rivers the next few weeks and just come out like a bat out of hell and put the team, like he always has, on his shoulders, carry them some victories, and get back in this damn thing. And why not? I root for a guy like that. I don't want to see him leave. I don't care if you want to get a first-round pick. That's fine.
Who knows what we'll get?
We're going to blow the first-round pick anyway.
That was Jake's point.
For the one guy, you're going to get the 3rd overall pick, and he won't play for 5 years. Who cares?
Mikey,
I want to see this guy play, dude.
Mikey, what do we do with Phillip Rivers?
Would have, should have, could have, but they lost. And
you're right.
They are where they are. And so, a couple points. I happened on accident to have my radio on 1090, and Scott and BR was on.
What time of the day, Mikey?
Scott and BR were on.
Okay.
And,
hopefully, it was
that's the lesser of 2 evils, at least.
Yeah. And Scott brought up a great point.
Doubt it.
With what LT said, he mentioned what LT said, and you're not trading Phillip Rivers to help him. You're doing it to do it for the franchise, and you have to. I mean, he's your biggest piece. What Josh said.
Tom Telesco at GM. You can't pick anybody that stays on the field, dude.
You are so okay with the Padres tanking and rebuilding, but you're not okay with the Chargers rebuilding. They're rebuilding. I hate to tell it to you. Phillip Rivers, all he's going to do is cost you the number 1 pick in the draft.
They're not, though. They're not rebuilding because
they are rebuilding.
They spent money. They went out.
Everybody has to spend money. Everybody has to spend some money.
They're not rebuilding.
Anyways, like Josh was saying, his value is high now. He has a couple years on his contract. You have to trade your biggest piece for some lesser pieces, but you're gonna get something back. You're not gonna be able to trade a guy who's you're not gonna build around Phillip Rivers because he's only got limited time left. So you have to trade him and get something in return and hope to rebuild. Scott was mentioning, maybe you could trade to the Rams, sucker them in, and get Goff and their first-round pick next year. There's options here, but I just don't think you have to admit that they're in a rebuild. And the longer you don't rebuild, you're going to be like the Padres, hoping to win and not ever doing anything.
Number 1 reason they will not trade Phillip Rivers this year. Stadium vote this year. Going forward, another stadium vote if they don't pass this year. It won't happen, guys. And I know it's a hypothetical, but It won't happen. Not with this ownership group.
We're not
with
really.
This GM.
I think that there's a less than 1% chance of them trading Phillip Rivers, but
sure.
But we're really talking about whether or not we think that they should. I agree with you, Justin. It ain't going to happen, and I agree with you that they shouldn't also. But my less than 0.5% chance. I know Jake is big on percentages and big on that stuff. Do you agree with that, Jake, or do you think there's an actual chance of this happening?
No, I should have been clear in my statement. I don't believe that the Chargers will trade Phillip Rivers this year. If they trade him, it will be either in the offseason or it will be sometime next year. I believe that they will. I mean, he will finish this year. There is no doubt about that. If a trade is even in that type of calculation, it will not be coming this year. But again, I mean, it just, if we're talking about rebuilding, it's just like, okay, let's just take it for example. Let's take what the perception of Sam Bradford was. And Minnesota trading a first-round pick away to get him when everybody's perception in the league was that Sam Bradford was an absolute bust. Let's look back at the teams that he's played with. He played in St. Louis when at that time there was no offensive line around him, which is why he was just getting hammered all the time out on the field, was always injured, was barely able to play. Was the similar type of story when he went over to Philadelphia, going into a new system that really nobody in truth adapted to. And now goes over to a team that has established talent around it. The unfortunate part about it is that we brought it up in the last segment is just that the ownership has not invested enough talent around Phillip Rivers, especially in the front, the front five that's ahead of him. And when you don't do that, you're continuing.
You
You
continue
can
to
tend
lose.
to drink Ovaltine and go about your day.
Jake, are you still there?
Jake.
Something happened with Jake.
He had a blow dart
Yeah, Jake's gone.
to the neck. Blow dart hit him. He's down. Man down.
What a bummer. Okay, well, you know what that means? That means we're going to take another quick break. Maybe we'll talk about something else besides Phillip Rivers. We can talk about what the Chargers are going to do now that we've lost Jason Verrett. I know they brought some guys back. They made some moves. We'll talk about that on the other side.
Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
All right, we're back. Of course, technical difficulties. It looks like we got Jake back in the house again. Welcome back, Jake.
Well, yes, sir.
Okay, so Phillip Rivers talked about him. Bottom line is if the Chargers do trade him, I still don't think they ever will, but if they did it, there's no way that it would be this year. And he, of course, would have to agree to a trade because he's got the no-trade clause anyways. Moving on, Jason Verrett. Lost for the season. I know we talk about this every week because it happens every week. That's the fourth game. The fourth game we've lost a starter for the season. It's going to be tough. They brought Stevie Williams back, a guy that I thought that had underperformed so far. Another one of those kind of draft picks that never really worked out. Moving forward, Jake, we'll start with you. How bad is this going to hurt?
As if the last 3 weeks didn't hurt enough already.
I know.
This is just unprecedented. I mean, really, the two guys we've lost over the last 2 weeks were two of the guys that we were having a debate about as to who should be the defensive captain of this team to start off the year. I mean, that's how big Manti Te'o and Jason Verrett really meant to this team. And And especially with Jaleel Adai going out, now you're affecting that secondary even more. Brandon Flowers might not even be playing this weekend. I mean, your secondary all of a sudden is vastly depleted. And this is just unprecedented. I've just never seen anything like this, to where you have some of the most valuable players on this team go down and they are done for the year. It's not a backup person. It's not a third stringer that this happens to. No, it just so happens to happen to some of the biggest impactful players that are on our team, both offensively and defensively. And, we talk about it every year. It's always an asterisk with the Chargers in preseason. And we always follow up sentences with, if they can stay healthy. And Jason, this is where you should really start believing in superstitions, buddy. Remember, I tell you, we need to stop doing the player of the game stuff. We need to stop doing the prediction stuff, because this is the repercussions that come from it. Is this stuff? I'm telling you.
If I believed in that stuff, I would agree with you. I just don't believe in that stuff. But I don't know what the problem. There's got to be something. There's got to be something to it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. Maybe I'm becoming a believer. Justin, what are we going to do with losing another guy? You posted something earlier about how you're tired of hearing next man up. What do we got to do next man? What else can we do?
Well, but people say that like it's some cool formality. Like you're just going to go next man up and you're going to go contend for a championship.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. People say, oh, well, it's just we have to have that next man up mentality. Well, I see Twitter all the time saying shit like that. And I'm not going to single people out, but I get sick of that because you can. It's a prime example of the last 3 years. No, the next man up, it doesn't do anything for you because the next man up wasn't good enough to be the starter, and they're barely good enough to be the second string. So it bugs me. It bugs me a lot, man. There is no rhyme or reason for these injuries, guys. There are no rhyme and reason. There's nothing. There is nothing you can say about these injuries that would make any sense at all. None of them. You know what I mean?
Did we curse the football god for the last 2 years in this show? Did we say anything? I can't recall.
No, I don't think so. I think the football gods are very, very, very upset at this franchise for some odd reason, and that's the only thing I can think of. And it's wreaking havoc on the fan base because this is unfair, dude. This is really unfair to the fans.
I blame a now defunct podcast for this.
Mikey, are there football gods?
I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's
certainly
nuts.
are.
It definitely. I mean, I don't know what you want to call it, man. Bad luck. And I don't know what your definition of luck is, but.
You ever heard that phrase where, why can't we have nice things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've heard it a lot this year.
Why can't we? I mean, well, I've heard it a lot the last 3 years. Why can't we have nice things, guys? It's crazy.
It is. It's terrible. It's just, I don't know what it is, but definitely.
Hal just joined us in the chat room. He says it's the California guacamole. Hal, too bad he just joined us. He missed the whole should we trade Rivers talk. Josh.
I got you, buddy. I got you.
Josh, is there football gods?
I don't know if there's football gods, but I definitely think there's an NFL establishment, and there's certain teams that I feel get favorable treatment.
That's a different discussion. I agree with you actually on that too, but that's something completely different.
Powers that be, and I love the fact that you brought that up.
What's that? Say that. What was that, Jakey?
Tom Brady doesn't get his suspension until like 3 years later. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that, Jake?
Oh no, man. We would have to do a whole show on this and extend the show an extra hour if we were going to be getting on this. If we want my thoughts on that perspective,
yeah.
So I think we'll pull that for another time.
Give us the skinny, Jake.
Okay, so moving forward, then, let's talk about really the most important thing that happened during this game.
Like what?
Jake, what happened that was so important to me?
Curse of Drew Brees.
No,
the interception.
Craig Mager got his first interception. Now, everybody knows that I predicted that he would get 3 this year. 4 games in, he's got 1. He's on pace to pick off 4.
He's going to be this game. He's going to be the starter from here on out. So
yeah,
you're going to be fine.
Anybody who listened to the pregame show also knows that I predicted he would get his first interception that game. Jake, do you still think I'm crazy? 3 interceptions this year?
Look, buddy. I just want you to understand that with Jason Verrett being out, what this is basically setting you up for. Because I know you're stoked right now because you're thinking, hey, I'm totally going to get past my 3 interception prediction that I had for Craig Mager and all this kind of stuff. But you have to understand that you are now also setting yourself up for extreme embarrassment.
Yes.
For what possibly might be happening to him.
You're right.
Craig
You're
Mager
right.
Equals Sammy Davis.
I did not.
Oh, I don't know if I would go that far.
I would go very far, and I would drive him that far.
Here's a couple things. I did not want to see Jason Verrett get injured. I did not want to see Craig Mager as a starter, but I did think that this season he would have the opportunity to maybe get in there in some games and pick some balls off. That's why I said that. No, not anywhere thinking that they were going to get that he was going to get a opportunity to actually play some more because of an injury.
Who are you throwing the ball at?
Go, Mikey.
Oh, who are you throwing the ball at? Casey Hayward or Craig Mager? He's not got a lot of balls thrown his way. You got your chances, Jason.
So what are you saying? He likes to play with balls?
I'm saying he's going to have a lot of balls coming towards him, and he'll get his chances.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. Now, see, Jason, again, you're not listening to me when it comes to the superstitious type of stuff. This is now the second indirect prediction that was made at the beginning of the year because you want your interceptions, but it's going to come at the cost of Jason Verrett. As we had the mayor predict earlier on in the year, it was Josh Perry who he said eventually in week 2 was going to be taking over the starting role for Manti Te'o. And Manti Te'o is no longer able to play this season. So you guys need to stop with these player predictions, man. It is disgusting.
Not good.
Well, like I said before, I don't believe that has any effect on it, but at the same time, it doesn't help either. So, so Mager got his first interception of the season, so that's the great news that came from that. Other things that we talked about in the pregame show that actually happened. We talked about the fact that it's time for Dontrell Inman to step up. Dontrell Inman had a big game. We talked about Hunter Henry had to move on from his mistake. Hunter Henry had a good game.
Who predicted that one, Jason?
You did.
Oh, there it is. There's the credit. Thanks,
yes.
buddy. All
we
right.
talked. When I say we. This is what we did. We ran that show.
Sorry, I predicted that shit. Okay.
We talked about that Jason Verrett had to win his matchup with Brandon Cooks, and he did. Brandon Cooks had 31 yards.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team too. So.
And my point exactly that Phillip Rivers can make any wide receiver look like a Pro Bowl wide receiver. You just have to protect him.
Agreed.
Yep. So moving forward, you guys, I started out this segment talking about the chances of the Chargers actually still doing something this year. Is anybody else agree with me besides Justin? Does anybody else think that there's a chance that the Chargers could still do something special this year, or is the season over? Josh. We'll let Josh start us off.
Does anybody else think that there's a chance?
What was the question again? I'm sorry, Jason.
Is there a chance of the Chargers? Is there a chance of the Chargers doing anything this year, or is it over?
Well, you have to say there's a chance because the Chargers were once 0-4, and then they were in the Super Bowl. So you have to say there's a chance.
They weren't in the Super Bowl that year.
Doing anything this year?
They weren't in the Super Bowl that year.
They went 0-4 and went to the playoffs.
Yes.
My apologies.
Thank you.
So
Let me stop you real quick. Somebody needs to turn down their volume on their computer.
Yeah,
I
hear.
think you should be the new guy.
Yeah,
we see you in there.
We're gonna introduce him in a minute. We got a new guy in here. We're gonna introduce in just a minute.
Go ahead, Josh.
Keep going, Joshy.
So there absolutely is a chance. And anytime you have a healthy Phillip Rivers behind an offensive line that can give him the time to find anybody named anybody, you could throw Justin Smead out there, and Justin Smead would go 8 receptions for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns as long as you can protect Phillip Rivers. So, yes, we still have a chance, but things have to go our way, and things have not been going our way.
Mikey, Chargers still have a chance of doing anything this year?
Yeah, man. They can definitely get that number 1 pick next year. It's going to be awesome. Really special. You know?
They're going to blow it.
And
I mean, honestly, the Rhett news is like the worst news. So what other big piece can you take out? You took out the last one. The only one left is Philip Rivers. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We don't believe in that.
So, but anyways, I mean, yeah, that's special, right? Number 1 pick. Special.
Moving on next, I want to introduce joining the show, Travis, SoCal Trav, dressed as the Dark Knight. He's in the we got him in on Skype so we get a chance to look at his mug. Travis, is the season over or do the Chargers still got a chance?
It's OVA.
Oh, boo. So you're telling me
LTIME.
Yes, it's over. It's done. There's a black cloud hovering over Qualcomm because the football gods think the Spanos are a piece of crap. So they're jinxing every single game.
So Travis definitely believes in the football gods. Jake, is the season over? Is there any chance of the Chargers doing anything, or is it already over? We need to be. I know that you were, anybody who tweeted anything after that game gets a pass because everybody was so upset after that. Because I did see you tweeted you're already in draft mode. I'm going to give you a chance.
Mode, baby.
I'm going to give you a chance to back off of that a little bit. Is the season over? Is it time to start looking at the draft next year, or is there still a chance of the Chargers doing something this year?
The Chargers had a goal that there's no way in hell that they were going to finish 4-12 again this year. So the best that they could do is they could finish 5-11. But either way, the season is still done. It's done. I mean, we may be talking again 4 weeks from now, and we could be sitting at 1-7. Conceivably, look at it. What is winning going to do benefiting us from that point forward? It's not going to do anything for us in the long term. Like I said, I stick by my statement that I made on Twitter at the end of Sunday. I hate to say I support the hell out of this team. I do. While I continue to watch every Sunday, yes, it's part of my duties, stuff that I write about. Absolutely. But hey, man, I'm looking for the talent for what's going to be on this team next year, the potential that we have, and yeah. I am a little bit in full draft mode here. I hate to say it, but yes, I am. And we're only in week 4, and that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's what's disgusting about that, and that's what's sad because, we spent a lot of time in draft mode already, and after 4 weeks having to get back into draft mode, that's horrible. That's just horrible. Now, next season, something I heard on the radio, and I stole this. I'm gonna steal this from the radio. Who's more likely to be on the team next year? Danny Woodhead or Manti Te'o. Both of them. I think they're both. Their contracts are up this year. I think Te'o is like they can.
He's a goner.
They can extend him. So is it one, the other, both, or neither? We'll start with you, Josh. Who is of those two guys? Who's more likely to be on the team next year, and will they both be on the team?
Danny Woodhead for sure will be on the team. Manti Te'o, now that you have this injury issue, I'm saying is doubtful for next year.
Justin.
Definitely Woody comes back maybe on like a 2-year deal. Te'o gets replaced by Jatavius Brown. He's just a fucking beast. They'll add more depth. Te'o's smart, but he's not going to be on this football team next year.
I'll tell you one thing that I love Jatavius Brown, everything I've seen from him, and it's so early, so it's really early to make any predictions about him, but it does seem like he's been injured every second that he's been on this team, always fighting something. Yeah. Just like Te'o. Te'o has been like that too. And
sure.
Mikey, which one of them, if either of them are most likely to be back?
Woodhead's coming back, I think.
You think they're going to re-sign Woodhead, but not Te'o?
I don't think Te'o, no. I think I think Te'o might find someone who will buy into the hype and get paid.
Yeah. Jake, what's your thoughts on those guys?
Woodhead's coming back for sure. I know you'll always like to grill me on percentages. I'll give Te'o a 25% chance of coming back on the circumstances, that it'd have to be a prove-it deal under those contract terms. Again, I don't think he's going to get big money from anywhere else, so he may find the best deal here in San Diego because of the fact that he's been so injured. And might I just say before you go over to the mayor that I can't wait to hear what his answer is about to be on Manti Te'o.
Yeah. I never even thought about that, Jake, but the fact that Teo has barely been on the field in his 4 years, he's got a lot of lower A. He's got a lot of old man injuries for a young guy, but they might be able to find a number that brings him back. That's interesting, and I think it all depends on how Brown does this whole season, because Brown has looked good when he's been out there. SoCal Trav, the mayor, both, either, neither. Who's coming back next year between those two guys?
Woodhead. I think Teo's done. Jatavius Brown, like Justin said, is a beast. Plus, you've got Perryman, you've got Josh Perry, who I think is going to turn out to be a damn good player, but he's still up and coming. But
yeah,
I think definitely Woodhead. Woodhead's too good. He's a utility type of guy who can kind of play anywhere you want to, basically on the offense. You know, you can play as a wideout running back, but Teo's done. You
know, something Hal says is he loves Woodhead too, but he wouldn't resign him. And the interesting thing is, out of the last 3 seasons now, we've only got 1 year out of Woodhead. He's had injury issues as well. So it is going to be kind of interesting. I know his contract's up, so we would have to re-sign him as well.
I'm sure he would take a cheaper contract. He has his family here. He's really built an establishment in this community, though.
Yeah, I agree. Right. And there's been no
Josh,
bigger.
You look so sexy there in Tucson, Arizona, buddy.
Yeah, there's been no bigger Teo fan than me. But ultimately, we haven't seen enough out of him to give him a big contract. So unfortunately, I think that unless
they saw a lot of Donald Butler a while back, they gave him a big contract. So who's to say they won't do that to Teo?
Yeah, but Teo's hardly been on the field. That's the thing. We saw some Butler.
That's the kind of contracts we give out, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. We just give contract. It's like Christmas Day. Like, you want a contract?
Yeah. You get a contract. You get a contract. Everybody.
We give out the contracts for people who don't even play.
Yeah.
Right. You're a reserve player. We're giving you a contract.
We'll give the water boy a 6-year contract.
He's the one. The water boy is part of the problem. He's the one that's serving the water.
Not his problem. They paid him. That's why.
Exactly.
So, as the time to start up as the Joey Bosa turns conversation. Joey Bosa has not played one down yet for the team. Is this the week? I know everybody thought that this would be the week that he plays. Justin, is this the week that we finally get to see Joey Bosa?
He'll be in the black hole, and he'll be in the Raider Nation. And I'm actually, this is, as bad as the season's kind of started, this is one guy I'm looking forward to paying attention to. So I know it's kind of a little late to be all excited and all that. I still think the Chargers have a shot to get back in this thing. I will never put anything past Phillip Rivers. I've seen him do too much in his career. He puts the weight on his shoulders, and that's the kind of player he is. Guys rally around that. He's made average teams look better than they are, even with bad offensive lines, because he sticks in that pocket for the last second. He takes a hit, whatever it is. He tries to put it on him, and I love that about him. And that's one thing I love to see every Sunday is number 17, and hopefully Joey Bosa with Legit and Mebane combined could be a dominant force up front, allow those young linebackers to come through, Perriman and Brown. That would be a fun thing to see, just going forward, something to look forward to.
Something, right?
Just something to look forward to. I think Joey Bosa gets a lot of playing time this weekend, and I can't wait to see him.
Mayor, is this the first week that we're going to see Joey Bosa, or is he going to be out for longer, you think?
I think we'll see him this weekend. He better, because that jersey I bought's got a lot of dust on it, and I need to take it to the dry cleaner so I can wear it.
We blamed you so far for the fact that he hasn't been on the field because you went out and bought that jersey. So he's got a lot of making up to do.
You got 99 problems, Trav.
And the bitch ain't one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jake, what percentage chance is Joey Bosa playing this week, Jake?
I give it, I'm going to be here. I'll take a little bit of your optimism juice for a second, Jason.
Good.
I'm going to actually give this one a 98.5% chance he plays this week. This
Nice.
is what we were talking about last week. I believe this was the whole plan as far as holding him out this long. You want to give him these 3 weeks, especially coming off a hamstring injury. We know that that's no joke.
Yeah.
And he barely got to practice in the preseason shortly after he signed his contract. So you want to give it as many time as possible. And plus, this is a divisional game. what's happened over these last couple of weeks, coupled with the fact that you have Damian Square coming back into the lineup. So actually your front seven's going to be, at its best that it's been since the beginning of this season. So I give him a very good chance of finally getting out there. And, like Justin said, it's one of the reasons that I'm really intrigued to watch this game to see what the kid can do.
Josh, Joey Bosa's playing this week?
I really don't think he's going to be playing this week, and the big reason is Damian Square is back. As much as I like to see Joey Bosa out there, I think he will bring some much-needed excitement to this organization, but I don't think he's going to be out there this week with Damian Square coming back.
Mikey, Joey Bosa playing? Mikey's got himself muted. Josh. Mikey, is Joey Bosa playing?
Yeah, he's playing this week, guys. I can't wait to see him on special I'm just kidding. No, he's playing. He'll be playing. They got him. They got him ready for special teams.
I haven't told you this, and it's something just of observation of being a part of this podcast with you guys for the past 2.5 years. But Mikey does such a good job of within the same sentence, he's going to take like the best possible thing in the world and just twist it into a negative.
Yeah,
it's hilarious how he does it.
That's why I'm popular with the ladies.
It's like he throws the poop emoji.
Yeah.
The poop emoji, like right in there, right at the end.
Well, I like the fact, Jake, that you brought up Damian Square. Now, we still have had a little bit of trouble stopping the run this year. Now, when we got Mebane, in there, of course. If we do see Joey Bosa getting Damian Square, I know he's not a superstar. I know he's not a Pro Bowler, but he's a solid guy to put in the rotation up there. I think that Bosa and Square coming in, I think are going to make a huge difference in our run defense. Mixing them in there with the other guys. Jake, do you agree with that? Do you think that both of those guys coming back can help out with our run defense, which has not been very good?
I do. I mean, you saw a glimpse of that, what Square was able to do, in the preseason. And it, with the rotation of guys, the way that our defense works right now, I think he's a formidable option to get in there in the rotation. I predicted that when he came back, I was actually talking to one of my buddies who's a Charger fan at the gym not too long ago, but I predicted with it when he came back that Ryan Carruthers was going to be basically booted off the roster on that roster exemption. And it wasn't for the same reason, obviously, because we brought back Stephen Williams to replace the Jason Barrett version. But the writing was kind of on the wall. So I definitely think when you look at the performance that Damian Square has put out there, I think it's worthy of getting him back in there. And I like the potential to see what we can do and how he can improve the front seven.
Justin, go. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout-out to Trav for giving us a tour of his apartment. It's crazy. Can you show us the kitchen next, bro? Where are you sitting now?
That's a tour of my new condo.
Attaboy. Oh, congratulations.
Nice.
Attaboy.
And it's in Southern California, by the way.
Of course.
Okay.
SoCal Trav.
POC, dog. Yeah.
Gotta be.
Sure. I can't do AZ Trav. It's got to be SoCal Trav.
Yeah.
Well, Josh apparently likes to wear ties in Arizona.
Yes.
Right up the street from Russia.
Yes.
Hey, Josh, put your arms down. Your right guard went left, buddy.
Do you see our run defense improving, Josh, with Damian Square coming back and Joey Bosa eventually getting back on the field? Because it hasn't been that good. Do you see it actually being what we expected it to be with those guys in there, or do you think it's going to be a little bit of the same that we already have?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little same of what we already have, and the main reason is I think our linebackers need to do a little better as well. It can't be all put on just our defensive line. Our defensive line, with those guys healthy, is stout. Don't get me wrong, but our linebackers need to get in there and be able to shove off a block and make a tackle. So
it'd help too if they stayed healthy, and I totally agree with you, Josh. I really agree with you. I think the linebackers have to. Jatavius Brown, God love him. He goes out there and he plays. I think he's been battling some injuries, obviously. But the kid's showing some fight. He's super quick to the ball, which I love, and he's disruptive. Same with Perriman. He gets into those fits, those gaps. He sheds blocks real quickly, and he gets to the ball carrier. So combined with these guys all back, Damian Square, Bosa, I think we all can agree. I think the run defense is going to be a little more superior this week than it's been in a long time, barring the health of the linebackers.
If anybody out there has been wondering why Mikey sounds so sad today, that's because the Chargers cut Ryan Carruthers. I know that he was a big fan of Ryan Carruthers. Do you think, Mikey, are you
Dalehouse tears?
Do you think they held on? I know that you were real critical of the Chargers from the very second they drafted him. Do you think they held on to him a little bit too long?
No, that's false. I wasn't too critical. I just didn't think there was a lot more hype. We got really excited about him when I thought Palapoi was just as good, and obviously Palapoi's still around and starting to make some contributions. But I mean, the line is still the issue, and again, that's what we're struggling with. So, I'm not. I don't think they held on too long, but again, I was expected, and again, I hate to be right about this. I'd love for the Chargers to find a guy and prove me wrong, but Carruthers was just a guy, and he really didn't have a big role in this team.
Yeah, they gave him opportunity, and he didn't have he never really seemed to take advantage of it. The fact that he was inactive for every game this year when our run defense wasn't that great anyways tells you that, he was basically holding a spot for Damian Square till he came back. Jake, did we hold on to Ryan Carruthers too long?
I wouldn't like to think so. I mean, again, aside from, Mikey being devastated that he's gone, I think a lot of us really saw a lot of potential in the kid, especially during his first year. But there was just a lot of question marks once he, wasn't playing at the beginning of last year, and it kind of carried on, and the lack of performance and not showing up, and everything just kind of added up. And again, we talked about for the fact that certain guys could step in here. Karan Reed being a perfect example for a guy who's been in the league less time than Ryan Carruthers, been with the team a lot longer. Well, was just still only been with this team in reality only a month, and was able to play his way on the roster over a guy like Ryan Carruthers who's been here for that long. That's really a telling statement.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good point there. That Ryan Carruthers, he had every opportunity, just for some reason, whether it was this scheme didn't fit him or he didn't work hard enough or he just wasn't good enough. Ultimately, he never really made his mark, and they had to move on. I'm not sure they held on. My question was, did they hold on to him too long? I don't think they held on to him too long. I think they tried to see if he was ever gonna really amount to anything, and he never did. I want to take one more break here. I want to come back on the other side and see. Are we happy with what we've got so far from our punt returner this year? I know that we were all pretty hyped about signing ourselves a free agent that was going to be able to come in and return some punts. Do we need to move in a different direction punt return wise, or do we need to
move
stick
in a different direction with that music of yours?
I know.
Get on out of you.
Send me no copyright music. I'll be happy to play it. We'll be right back in a minute.
Calling all podcasters. Have you ever wanted your voice to be heard? Do you need help expanding your audience? Are you curious just how far your show could reach? Well, look no further. We are New Media Radio Network, the premier podcast streaming network. Let us take your show to the next level. For more information, check out our website, www.newmediaradio.net.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
All right, we're back, and let me tell you something. For as dire and as bad as the Chargers season has been so far this season, we're actually having a pretty decent time tonight talking about...
Her music choice is worse.
It's not a choice. It's all we have.
Jason, for goodness sake, we've done this podcast for 4 years and we've never cared about...
I know, but we have to...
I've heard this music in the last 2.5 years I've been with you guys.
We had to change to no copyright music because we joined that 24-hour podcasting network. So we...
which in translation, you lost all your CDs and all your downloads and everything like that.
No, I still have it. I just can't play it because we don't have permission to play it.
You put it all on my shoulders. I'll carry us to the promised land. Let's go.
It's, find me some better no copyright music. I'll be happy to play it. Chargers punt returns. The few times that Travis Benjamin, I'm not even talking about the one that he muffed. Everybody muffed punts. I'm talking about all of the punts that he's letting hit the ground and get 20, 25 more yards or get inside the 20. I'm extremely disappointed with his punt returns, and he's the one who had a big fumble. That stuff happens too. I'm just talking about punt return and not catching the ball, whether he's judging it wrong, whether he's getting in the wrong position. I say we need to move on, put McCluster back there, and just let him focus on catching balls from Phillip Rivers. Justin, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are I saw a fake reverse on a punt that I've never
loved
seen
it.
in Chargers history.
I loved it.
It's been like probably years. Any of you guys catch that?
You know what? I forgot to even mention that because that was back when we were playing well in that game. I loved it, actually. It was neat.
There was a fake handoff with McCluster and Benjamin, which was really sexy. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. And then they kind of faked out the D, whatever. But then the rest of the game, the punt returns suck.
Yeah.
So it's like, or the kickoff, and it's like you don't just stop, with the trickery. Just make sure you catch the ball and get down the field.
Yeah, at least catch it.
But they tried something different,
which was good.
Which is not McCoy's vocabulary. He's very plain Jane. Him and Wisenhunt or whatever they're doing this year, it's kind of plain Jane. There's no flea flickers. Hardly any reverse tosses, whatever you're going to do. That was pretty sexy. I like that.
Yeah, I actually liked it too. And the cool thing was it seemed to be pretty successful. We got about 15 yards on the return. I did like it, and I'm happy you brought it up because I had completely forgotten about it after that game was over. Mikey, punt returns, satisfied, dissatisfied, time to move in a different direction?
No, I mean, I have last year to compare to, so I'm extremely happy that they're at least moving the ball up a little bit. But
yeah, it's not Jacoby Jones.
Exactly. So, but no, I mean, give it time. It's hard to take them back to the house, and they're letting some drop, but I don't know what Benjamin's seeing out there, but I trust him. He's shown already. He has enough clout with me to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Give him the benefit of the doubt, and
for sure. Hey, I'll be right back, guys. Too. Sorry, I need to go take care of something. But
no problem.
Keep it going.
Jake,
this time.
Jake, why can't we return punts, Jake? What's wrong with our punt return team?
Well, you said you didn't want to talk about the punt that Benjamin miffed. I want to talk about it for a second, however.
Okay.
Rewind, when you guys get a chance, go back and look at that muffed punt. We were able to recover it. That was a good thing. But who ended up getting subtly hurt on
Verrett
that?
Did.
And I believe that is the source of where his slightly ill came and what he's been dealing with the last 2 games. So that is the only reason I would bring up that muffed punt for that very factor. But everything else, it's just not working. It really is just not working. His lack of judgment for where the punt's going and where to field it and when to field it and what have you, let somebody else do it at this point because the field position for us is just so huge. And we've, for the second half of that game, almost for the majority of that game, we were pinned back in our own territory, and we were unable to really get anything off of those punt return yardage. So, I agree with Justin. Give it to McCluster, let him do something with it, and, hopefully just gain some positive yardage to be up closer to midfield.
Trav, do we need to move in a different direction punt return-wise? I know that you were a big fan of the Travis Benjamin signing. I've been pretty happy, actually, what I've seen from him at wide receiver. But punt return, do we need to give him a few more tries, or is it time to move on?
I say it's time to move on. I think he's jinxed at punt returning, wearing that number 12, as
Jacoby
Justin
Jones
brought up.
Yeah.
Jacoby Jones. So I think it's a jinx. But let McCluster get back there. Let's see McClusty do something.
They call him the Duster.
Yeah,
he dusts everybody.
It seems like he's only been on the team 2 weeks, but his contribution has increased, and I hope to keep seeing it increase. Josh, punt returns, it's been a sore subject for us for the last few years. We keep thinking we solved the problem. We signed Jacoby Jones. That's the answer, and then it wasn't. Now we bring over Travis Benjamin. We think that's the answer. So far, it hasn't been. Do you think that we need to stick with Travis Benjamin, or should we move on to somebody else?
I agree with you guys. I think McCluster needs to take that role. I think Travis Benjamin needs to focus on holding on to the football when he catches it and not so much returning punts. This guy has incredible talent and speed, and we need him to carry the load at the wide receiver role. That's where his focus needs to be.
I wanted to bring something up, and
Sure.
It's going to go away from the special teams, and I know we do this a lot, but I've heard more complaining about the fumbles this week than I've heard, last week with Hunter Henry. Maybe because we love Hunter Henry, and he's such a lovable guy, and he's just doing his best. But, he did fumble too
Right.
last week to kind of end the game. But I've heard more this week about Travis Benjamin and Melvin Gordon, just because they are veterans, probably.
Yeah.
And I give Hunter Henry the benefit of the doubt. But it just goes to show you what we're conjuring all the blame to at certain points of the game and all that stuff, and what areas of the football or what special teams, defense, and offense, what we're actually laying blame to. I think Hunter Henry deserved a little blame on that drive, of course. You don't fumble the football there.
Right.
But the criticism now directed towards Benjamin and also Melvin Gordon is warranted as well. So I just think it's a little funny that we're having this discussion again, and it's two games, guys, where we haven't even brought this up. I mean, these are two teams you should have beaten, obviously.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. Saints and Colts. These are 2 wins in the bag. You should easily be sitting here at 3-1, and that's what sucks. We're throwing the blame because we're losing, and it wasn't even close. We should have won these games, and that's the terrible part. We're picking each other apart, and I think that's why me and you, Jason, earlier were so adamant about the Phillip Rivers thing. I mean, we're a few minutes away from winning these ball games, and it doesn't make any sense. None of it.
Trav has to go, but last question to you then on the fumbles is are we fumbling it because of lack of focus? Is it a luck thing? What is it? Are the fumbles a concern?
It is a concern, and those 2 last Sunday were a joke. I'm going to call this Fumblegate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say
16.
that the other team's ball boy is greasing our balls.
Oh.
Don't be greasing our balls, bro.
Yeah.
The balls are
You're going to get
greased.
Justin excited. Stop it.
Yeah.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Josh. That tie's got your brain on squeeze mode.
I think the heat in Arizona's got them all.
I do too.
Oh, man.
I'm getting ready to put my snowboard together. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, Trav, thanks. I know you did have to go, so I appreciate you jumping in here and being part of the show. We've been having some phone issues, so you jumped onto Skype, and you got to look at all of our ugly mugs, and we got to see your ugly mug as well.
Mine's no better.
Yeah.
So,
So we appreciate it, man. Before you go, what do you always like to say?
Well, I got 2 things to say. I'm going to make a prediction for Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
And I'm going to say Chargers 23, Raiders 35.
Okay.
I hate to say it. I've never predicted a loss, but the way we've been playing, I wouldn't be surprised.
Especially to the Raiders.
Yes, and in the black hole, no less.
Yes.
And always,
I call it the glory hole. That's where we get the glory,
and
brother.
as always, go Bolts.
Anybody who didn't have a chance to see that, he's putting his hands together like he was praying. Thanks a lot, Trav. We appreciate it. We look forward to. Hopefully, you'll be able to give us your prediction again on the pregame show we do on Sunday, man. But thanks for joining us.
Mayor.
We look forward
Appreciate
to talking to you again,
Thanks
man.
for having me, guys. I'll see you next week.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you,
man.
Mayor.
Fumbles. What's interesting is this season the offensive turn. Every time we've turned over the ball, it's been a punt. I mean, it's been a fumble, except that last interception by Rivers, which doesn't count because we were kind of in desperation mode. But I don't remember any other turnovers. I know Rivers has fumbled it twice. We had the big fumble by Hunter Henry. We of course had Benjamin fumble, and we had Gordon fumble. Have we had any other turnovers? Does anybody know of any other turnovers?
No, I mean, Phillip Rivers only had one interception. That was last week,
right?
At the end of that play. But, I mean, I think the team's done a pretty decent job of not turning the ball over this year. I mean, it's been okay, but it's just been at crucial times. It's been at really, really in-up times. You can't do that. You can't do that at the end of the game. You can't do it on a crucial drive where you're 7 plays, 8 minutes. You can't do stuff like that. So that's where it hurts the most. You can do it at the beginning of the football game because you can recoup from that. But you do it like we're doing.
Yeah.
Two possessions in a row, give them in our territory. You can't do stuff like it's bad.
Now let's just say we have a 13-point lead against the Raiders with 5 minutes to go, and the ball. Do we play like the Waterboy movie, and do we just start kneeling down and running time off the clock? I mean, it seems like we are really, really good at shooting ourselves in the foot. What's the answer to that? I mean, how much can McCoy preach to these guys? You have to hold on to the ball. Is there an answer? Cannonball, Mike.
Bless you.
Is there an answer to that? Is there something that can be done? We haven't heard from Jake for a little while. Jake, what's the answer to those inopportune fumbles?
I'm going to retort with your question, Jason, with another question. Have you known in any type of situation that we have been in that's similar to that, have you known Mike McCoy to do anything different?
No.
I don't know what you mean by anything different because we ran the ball once and fumbled, and we threw the ball once and fumbled.
Okay, but just the concept of running the ball and being conservative and not going for the throat and not piling on the points.
I disagree with you though because we did. I think the next time we got the ball, we didn't go conservative. We threw the ball. We had a first down. He just flat out dropped it.
I don't know, man. I've seen this song and dance too much, and until I see something that's really going to just change my opinion on it when it comes down to when the game is on the line.
They play not to lose. They play not to lose. They play not to lose every flipping week, guys.
I don't necessarily disagree. I don't necessarily agree with you guys, and I'll tell you why. When we don't win the games, everybody's screaming, "Why aren't we running the ball? Why are we throwing the ball?" I don't think it's necessarily playing too conservative. The ultimate thing that ends up happening is we're not winning. So whatever we're doing is not working. But I don't necessarily think that it's overly conservative. I don't think that we're just run the ball. That's not what we're doing. It seems that no matter what we do is not working, but I don't see it as conservative. Mike?
I don't know. I don't know if you necessarily just want to centralize it around the term of being conservative. And again, it's not to say that, hey, just running the ball to run the clock out and burn time is always going to be a losing percentage because it's not.
Right.
We've seen people win on that type of a game alone as well, but it just never happens to take place with San Diego.
Right.
And it just, because it's run, 3 downs, I honestly think that in those type of critical situations that the defense is ready for it. They know exactly that that's coming.
Yeah.
So in that circumstance, give them what they're not ready for. How about a throw on a first down with 5 minutes to go and you're up by 13?
Well, we did though, and he fumbled it.
But just do it more consistently. Yeah. If it was working in the case of that, then keep doing it in the future. I just need to see a trend.
I think Jake's talking on past, endeavors like putting the foot on the gas a little bit and making sure that it's consistently done. I know he fumbled this one time,
right.
but like there's times where they sputter because they're doing the delayed handoff or they're doing something rather like a crossing pad. Like go deep, go try for the jugular. Do something crazy.
Let me put this out there. Is it possible that this is a conditioning problem? Is it possible that when we get to the end of the game, we don't have the same stamina as the other team? Is it possible?
Donald Trump?
I said that on purpose. Is it possible that we're not able to run or throw or hold onto the ball or stop anybody because the whole team is tired? Because maybe, I'm just throwing this out there. Maybe we aren't conditioned the way that we should be, Josh.
I don't know if it's conditioning. I think it's more focus, to be honest. I think it's the players not being focused and in the moment. I think conditioning, these guys are world-class athletes, guys. I mean, these guys are probably the most conditioned athletes in the world. I think it's more on focus and ball security than anything.
What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on that, Jake? You agree with that?
Absolutely. Again, if you're not conditioned for the NFL, then you're not on a team's roster. You're not on the final 53 if you're not in shape to play this. However, speaking of that, is that if you were talking about if we can centralize around the defense, if your offense can't move the ball, which we obviously saw that in Week 1 against the Chiefs, then yes, your defense is going to get tired. That's a natural thing that's going to happen with any player out there.
Right.
And that's what so happened to happen with these last 2 games against Indy and against New Orleans, is that the offense was not able to all of a sudden move the ball, and especially with those last 2 minutes when you turn the ball over twice that fast in 2 plays, your defense is not going to be 100% ready to go on those next 2 drives to try and stop somebody.
Well, but the conditioning could fall on the offense as well. The offense, might be out of gas too, and that's why they're not able to run the ball or not able to move the ball. I know.
Go
ahead.
See how it can happen with this team, because the fact that hey, we're not sprinting down the field 60 yards. We may only be moving about 5 yards at a time. So I don't see how the conditioning has any effect on the offense.
Okay, fair enough, Mikey. I know Josh has got his hand raised, but Mike hasn't had a chance for a while. Go ahead, Mikey.
You guys notice how scary Justin's place looks right now? It's pretty freaking scary.
Yeah, he looks like a ghost or something.
Yeah, seriously, I'm scared something might pop out at us. What are we talking about, guys? Sorry. No, the condition. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on. I want to Josh talk. He's held his finger for a while. Sorry.
Go for it, Josh.
You go.
I'm going back to the focus and working on ball security. And the moment that ball gets hiked to Phillip Rivers and he either decides to throw it to a receiver or hand it off to a running back, they need to consider that as a grenade with the pin pulled. And if they let go of that thing, the whole thing's going to explode and the whole team's going to go down with them.
I think it might come down to a conditioning issue. I know, Jake, you don't agree with me. I'm just curious. Another thing, though, is I was thinking about it. I was running through a whole lot of different things in my mind today trying to find answers here. And Josh said focus. And is it harder for a player to focus 100% of their effort on football in San Diego because there's a lot of different things to do? Is that a cop-out? Or is there something to that? Because we're trying to find out why, for some reason, nothing ever is successful here in San Diego. Mikey, you're disagreeing. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm throwing it out there. No. I don't say I believe that. I'm just throwing something out there.
No, I mean when I go to SeaWorld 3 times a week, I still can focus and do my job. So there's not. I mean, no, it's definitely you're a professional and I mean, it has to be an internal reason. It really, there can't be an outside reason. San Diego's beautiful and all, but it's not Vegas where you're going out every night.
Okay.
It's not Atlanta, which has the most strip clubs in the nation.
Does it have more of a relaxed vibe? Maybe people don't work as hard out here. You think that there's anything to? Like I said, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just wondering if maybe when you are in San Diego, you just don't work as hard as if you're in Green Bay or, I don't know. I don't work that hard, so I don't know. Maybe. Jake, anything to that at all, or is that just a big cop-out?
Probably.
Cop-out.
I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
I don't work hard because San Diego.
Go, Josh.
Go ahead, Josh.
It's a cop-out. It comes down to a person's personal mindset, and they're willing to want to put in the effort to win a championship. It's the bottom line.
Jake, is there anything to that, you think, or do you think it's a big cop-out?
I think you're digging, sir. I think that's a huge cop-out. Remember, we the perception when Norv Turner was here was that the practices were a country club and all this kind of stuff. I never believed it, especially with certain players, with Phillip Rivers and a select few of other guys. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you're in the NFL for a sole purpose, and collectively as a 53-man group to win a championship. So yeah, I totally believe that's an excuse.
I don't know. I don't believe it. First of all, I just kind of was throwing it out there. Just trying to find an answer. Chris Hunter in the chat room says he doesn't think that Phillip Rivers trusts his offensive line. Of course he says he does, and of course he likes them. But he says he likes the guys, and he says he thinks the guys are working hard and all that stuff. But he doesn't think that Rivers has trust in his offensive line. Anything to that, Justin? What do you think about that comment?
I don't think that's true at all. I think you go into camp and you build rapport. You grab Matt Slauson, which he loves. He knows what King can do. Unfortunately, he has his issues with his head. You know what Orlando Franklin can do. Unfortunately, he's always banged up.
Right.
I think he trusts his line, but the trust is that there's not always the continuity there every year, and I think the last 3 years have been a product of that. And I'm sure he has disbelief, and he sees guys going down around him. He's probably getting a little shaky now. Like, it's probably getting in his head again that this season just could be a wash.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. Mikey, what's your thoughts on that?
I think he trusts his line. He probably doesn't trust McNorv, but the coaching staff. But you saw Slauson. You saw Slauson defend him. That's enough to get respect. I mean, they don't have to, be best buds. Obviously they're not. They're all different. But I think you trust the guy that you know is working hard.
Yeah.
He may not be the best. He may get beat, but he's working hard. I mean, and from what I've seen, the line has done much better this year than last year.
Yeah,
much improved.
I agree.
And
definitely.
I mean, they may have
And
the most talented.
It is, by the way, because they still have a lot of it intact. They're not working with second stringers already. So, knock on wood, we'll be okay going forward. Everybody can get back healthy. But you're right. I mean, it has been a better line this year. We all can agree on that.
Yeah, so you have to trust the guys that they're working hard, doing the best they can.
Yeah, Chris Hunter says he looks uncomfortable back there, and he thinks he looked a little jumpy last week. Jake, do you think that there's a trust issue with Philip Rivers in the offensive line?
I don't think that there's a trust issue, but yeah, I'll agree with Chris there that he definitely looked on edge during a lot of parts of that game. And you saw it as far as missing throws. I mean, I'm still waiting for him to complete that pass to Dexter McCluster on the running back that he almost had in the Indy game that would have been for 6. And they tried running the exact same play again, and he missed him again.
Yep.
So I think he was definitely rattled for the fact that number one, King wasn't in there. You had the rotation going around. You had Joe Barksdale moving to your left side. You had Fluker getting kicked back into guard. There was just too much movement, and it was just too much reminiscing of last year and the last couple of years of the offensive line struggles that we've had. So I definitely think he's got the utmost trust in all of the 5 guys, no matter who it is that's in front of him. But as a quarterback, those type of things are going to get to you, and that's any quarterback. I don't care who it is. When you have that much movement and that defense being able to snuff it out and exploit it, that's going to make a quarterback nervous back there. It's just the way it goes.
Justin, go for it.
I have breaking news.
Yeah.
Kendall Reyes has been released from the Washington Redskins.
Oh,
and we all just thought he was so special here in San Diego.
I remember when we liked him.
Who was that group?
I don't know, but
it wasn't this podcast.
We gave away a signed Kendall Reyes mini helmet at one of our events, if you guys remember.
Oh, so it was you guys.
It was us.
You were the one.
Well, it wasn't me personally, but
it's gone downhill since that day.
Yes,
it's really gone downhill since that day. Let us down.
San Diego Sports Junkies break news around here. So
another thing Chris Hunter says is one of the problems is that the receivers might not be getting, they're not getting the separation that they were getting maybe when we had, when we had our full. When we had all of our stars, we had Keenan Allen out there, of course, and Antonio Gates playing. Mikey, you were raising your hand earlier. Do you think Philip Rivers looks a little bit jumpy back there?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he, like Jake mentioned, he's missed a couple plays, and it's happened a couple throws, and it's happened, more recently, which got me thinking. I don't think I've seen him miss as much. And again, the line looks better. Maybe the separation's not there, but I mean. He's done this before. So, it is something to keep an eye on moving forward because something's going on. I still blame the play calling, but whatever. Like,
I think it's easy to blame the play calling when it's not working. We'll leave you with this. We'll wrap things up. But Larry Joe just jumped on and he said something pretty interesting. I just skimmed it real quick. I'm going to go ahead and read it. It's a little bit long, but it's actually pretty well said. Is it possible that this is just bigger than any of us? Let me put it this way. Is it just that Dean Spanos isn't meant to be a winner? Is it possible that the man has a personality which trickles down to the organization, that nothing ever to change with this team as long as his hands are on this team? I'm just lost for words in amazement that this continues to happen to this team. It's almost sad to say, but it's more entertaining to see what other possible ways the Chargers can screw up. It's kind of interesting. Is it almost that Dean Spanos is just a loser and that trickles down to the rest of the team? Mikey, what's your thoughts on what he said there?
Yeah, Dean Spanos is a loser, and we've talked about this in the first part of the show. There's a reason that everything's happening. It's not his fault.
Does trickle-down losernomics work in the NFL?
It sure doesn't trickle up, I'll tell you that right now.
Does it start at the top, though, guys? It does start at the top.
Yeah.
We talked about this. We talked about he's the one making a lot of these decisions that continue going down. I mean, he's the one picking the GM. He's the one helping pick coaches. It might be that Spanos is just meant to be a loser.
Yeah.
Anything touches will be a loser.
Anything to that, Jake?
All this talk about the football gods and everything like that, and fate, and the curse of San Diego. Who knows? I mean,
yeah,
this may all end up being some weird truth behind everything else. And I can't necessarily disagree with the word that Mikey just said. I mean, it sounds like a possible, legit possibility the way that I think.
Yeah, and. The last thing, that we'll actually leave with is everybody's saying Dean should sell the team. That's the only way we're going to win. From my understanding, I'm not close personal friends with the guy, but as far as I can tell, they absolutely love being NFL owners, and they have no interest in selling the team. Any chance at all that you guys think that they're going to sell? Go ahead, Mike.
Can we start a petition to get Mark Cuban to buy the team?
You can start any petition that you want, but the problem is I don't think they want to sell. I think the Spanos family loves the fact that they're NFL owners.
I'm just saying, Mark Cuban knows he wants to win. I trust that guy. Yeah. He wants to win. You saw he spends money like crazy. So I don't know. I don't know if they'll sell the team. You're probably right. We don't know if he will, and if they do, love it. But again, for the fans, we'd love to see somebody else. If we really truly blame the Spanos, which we think is the common factor in all this.
Justin, will they ever? Do you think that they have any interest in ever selling? Do you think that's ever going to happen in our lifetime?
Bill Gates is from San Diego.
I'm sure Mark Cuban would be interested, but I just don't think the Chargers are going to sell. I just don't think they ever would.
I think the ownership group likes where they're at in the NFL. They're going to leave it to their family. It's going to be a family-enriched organization for a long time, because I think that's what Alex wanted.
The way the NFL is built, if you're an NFL owner, you're practically printing money. I mean,
that's it.
You're printing money.
And then we will get a new stadium. That's just my prediction.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think we will here.
And he'll print more. He'll be able to print more.
And the team will be instantly worth, however X amount of dollars. Yep. Your value goes up. So we'll see, guys. I don't think he sells the team. No, I don't. No. Which is unfortunate, because it seems like there would be other ownership groups that would be more passionate than the ones we have.
Yeah, Josh. Any chance? I know you want them to, but any chance you see of them? To me, it doesn't seem like they'd ever want to.
The Spanos ever want to sell the team?
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I mean, you just look at the Spanoses and the way they present themselves to the media and to the NFL world. They just don't seem like they're into it. And I think if the price is right, anybody's willing to sell their team.
I don't know. I think that the prestige of owning an NFL team, and like I said, it's pretty much you're printing money by owning a team. I just don't think that they have any interest at all. Jake, do you ever see the Spanoses selling the team?
I'm so glad that you brought this up. Honestly, I've listened to your guys' answers, and I've got actually a really interesting perspective on this.
That's why I waited for you for last.
Okay, awesome. No. No.
Deep there.
Cue up the Ovaltine commercial.
Yeah.
I don't think that they can. Travis has a question. I don't think they can, but unless they did something bad. But what he's asking is, can the NFL force the Spanoses to sell? They'd have to have a reason, right? That was directed at you, Jake.
They've been good owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe so. I mean, why would the NFL want to force why would they want to force their owners out all of a sudden? That doesn't make any sense. I can't see any. I think we'd have to be talking about unless it's like a Jim Irsay situation or whatever particulars happen for particular conduct or whatnot.
We would have to find some dead hookers in their basement or something before they were able to do something.
I mean, it would have to be.
We can make that happen, guys. We can make that happen.
You'd have to have like a Michael Vick situation, with the Spanoses to possibly call for their heads and force them out of office. But I don't see there's any condition that's written that says that.
Yeah, you could have a vote, and you could get 100% of people in San Diego saying they want the Spanoses to sell, and I don't think it would make any difference to the NFL.
Look, their heart's been in the right spot for a long time. They make donations, and they do contribute to this community. They do it under the radar a lot of the times, and I know that for a fact. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean they're great owners. That doesn't mean they're passionate about football. That just means that they're good to the community because they have a billion-dollar organization.
And they like write-offs.
Yeah, of course. And that's it. And so, long story short, they can do these things, but they don't have to be passionate because why does it really matter? I mean, I'm sure they want to win, but how much do they really want to win?
The thing
is it
about
really that important to them, or
the way the NFL is built, the team that finishes dead last at 0-16 makes millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So the incentive to win there almost has to just be a personal drive.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you have to want to win more than you want to make money because they're always going to make money, but if you're just trying to maximize your profits, maybe winning isn't as important, and maybe that's what the problem is with them. I'm not sure. Any other subjects, you guys? Anybody want to bring up anything else before we wrap this up?
Yeah, the Aztecs lost Saturday, and that's crappy.
Oh God. I hate to say this, but you guys do know that I was the only one who said the Aztecs weren't going to go undefeated, right?
But they lost to South Alabama.
And I did not think they would lose to South Alabama. I don't want to say that I predicted that, but I was so upset. I did say that. I did say they would lose a game this year. I didn't think it would be that one.
See, Jake, I'm starting to believe you, Jake.
Yeah.
He predicts stuff, and then it happens.
I can't believe the Aztecs pulled the Chargers.
No, I predicted the Chargers to win every week, and they lose also. So let's not put this on me.
Okay, let's try this. Yeah. Let's try something. Let's try something over the next couple weeks.
I need to hear Eidsmo say something right now.
No, go ahead.
The Chargers will win the next 8 out of 9 games. Just
say that. Yes, that was exactly what I was going to say to
you. Can you please say that for me?
Yes. Let us reverse all of our predictions.
Okay.
Actually, hell, if you want to reverse all the predictions of us saying something positive or a player of the game or anything like that, who's going to be the failure of the game? Who's gonna throw the most? How many interceptions is Phillip Rivers going to throw?
Okay.
How many touchdowns are we going to give up in this game? Start saying stuff like that.
Don't
I
let him
love
say
it.
How many picks
I love it.
I have him on my fantasy team. I can't ignore that.
That's reverse.
That's why fantasy football sucks.
I swear, if it ends up happening that way, then we will do away with predictions altogether.
Jake, you are on to something. This Sunday, anybody out there listening on the pregame show, we're going to talk about what the Chargers need to do to win. But when it comes to the final segment and it comes to prediction time, we are all going to predict all the bad things that are going to happen. We're going to predict who's going to be the worst player of the game. We're going to predict who's going to make the biggest turnovers. Who's going to be the GOAT.
Who's going to fumble the ball 2 minutes in.
Exactly.
With the lead and give the ball back and so they can score.
Jake, I love it. We need to change. We need to change something, and this is the big change right here. I love it, Jake. I love it.
That's great. Good idea, man.
All right. Awesome. That's going to wrap things up for this week. We are the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for the fans.
By the fans.
I wanted to thank Josh Taylor, live from Arizona. Justin Smead, live from Lakeside. Mike Maciejewski, live from Eastlake, Chula Vista.
Yeah, Eastlake.
And Jake Hefner, of course, live from the North Pole.
I thought I was going to get a lot worse this time.
Nah. I'm running out of. We got to start sending you to outer space. I can't get you any north or more north than we've been sending you.
Sorry, December 25th, I'm coming down, dude. We'll be just fine.
Oh, nice.
So that was a Christmas pun to the North Pole. I didn't know if you got that.
No, I expect to see you in my. I'm gonna have. Well, first of all, I have to put in a fireplace, and as soon as I do, then we'll expect to see you come down it.
There you go.
You can follow Jake on Twitter at Jake T. Hefner. Tweet back and forth with him during the week. He's a fun follow, and he'll answer all of your direct tweets to him. It's a fun follow. You can also read articles from him and the rest of the crew at boltbeat.com, writing about Chargers and AFC West and all that good stuff. Mikey from Aztecs Hoops Nation, thanks for joining us. Any new articles coming out right now?
Yeah, I actually have an article coming out about some under the radar prospects for 2018 and 2019, and I have some work getting done on another website that I'll tweet out soon. A short preview, and of course I'll be working on a preview for the Aztec season coming up next month.
Nice. We look forward to seeing it. Thanks for joining us, Jake, Mike, Justin, Josh, all of you guys. Thanks so much this week. Look forward to talking to all of you guys Sunday morning when we make our negative predictions for the game and see if I can turn things around for the Chargers.
Craig Mager's going to drop 3 interceptions.
Yes, that's what Jason's prediction is going to be.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You can't steal my prediction. Come on now.
I apologize.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. We look forward to seeing you guys each and every Wednesday, and of course, each Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, 10. See you guys later, man.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.